welcome to the News Super Review here on TAV TV. It's Easter Monday, today being the 10th of April 2023. Hope you have enjoyed your Easter weekend. Happy Easter to all the Christian faithful worldwide. I hope you have celebrated with family and friends. It's been a long weekend for us, for those of us here in Nigeria, because we've had the holiday beginning from Friday till today, being Monday, the 10th of April 2023. Mr. Victor is here with me, and together we're going to go through the newspaper headlines together. But I'm going to ask you, hope you enjoyed your weekend. Has it been with you?
Yes, I enjoyed it. It was time with my family yesterday, and we had some time. We had some time together, and I give God the praise for that.
Yes, same as me too. I tried to spend time with family, and I was able to achieve that. It was really fun, and it just makes me recognize the fact that we all need to spend more time with our families. If you've already started one, like those of us here. But then, of course, you can also do that with extended family and friends. Try to have fun whenever you can. Whenever you have holidays like this, try to make the best of it. All right, but for this program, we bring you the headlines across newspapers around Nigeria, and that's what we're going to do this morning. And we're going straight to the papers, and let's begin with Daily Sun for today. And on Daily Sun, we have as headline here, Easter, Osibanjo, CJN, Kalu, governors, Mba, others preach unity, love, hope, sacrifice. You find details on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Kuka to the Supreme Court, don't disappoint Nigerians. Task Buhari Tinubu on unity, corruption. You fought a good fight. Keep dreams alive. Priest urges Nigerians. Moving on to other headlines, still on the Daily Sun, we see Day of Blood, sorrow in Lagos, Enugu. Gunmen killed police, injure others in Lagos. 15 burned to death in Enugu highway crash. Very sad story, but you find details on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We'll also take this one. It says, Buhari governors Kalu Fek, others mourn as ex-justice minister. Ajibola 89 dies. You find that story on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. All right, Victor, let me come to you. Let's talk about the Easter holiday celebrations. Amidst all of that, we also see that Osibanjo, CJN, and Kalu, and some others have been preaching unity, love, hope, and sacrifice. This seems to be the usual thing for most of these holidays. And we find our leaders come out to, give their words to faithfuls and say, let's use this spirit to, go over some of the happenings in recent time, and let's see the need to unite more. What's your take on all of this? Okay,
thank you. Happy Easter celebrations to our viewers out there. And just like you mentioned, our leaders are at it again. I say they are at it again because they are preaching unity, they are preaching love. So, but when you just go back to what has happened the last election, our so-called leaders that were elected, yes, they are preaching unity now. But many of them, we saw how they came against the people. We saw how they killed, they maimed people just so that they can become leaders. And during this Easter season, where we are talking about sacrifice, that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. Our leaders are not dying for us, but they are killing for us so that they can become our leaders. Then you ask the question, what is the essence of coming out? Like we saw on TV, most of them have gone to their churches. The ones that are Christians, they went to their churches. You see them carrying themselves, doing holy. Some of them that went to Catholic, opened their mouth to correct communion, and just begin to wonder: is God not there? Is God not watching as these criminals go to His presence to mock? I say to mock Him. Because you cannot take it away that these are the same leaders that during the election that they came out all out with their men, with their troops to snatch ballot boxes. Are those people, the people that snatch the ballot boxes, are they not the ones that have gone to their churches on Sunday to even do Thanksgiving, to go holy, to collect the communion? So this Easter is not just about preaching unity. It's not just about preaching love.
Yeah.
There should be repentance, total repentance from these our leaders that are year in year at every Easter, Christmas, they come out and talk about peace, unity, and love.
The same message.
The same message.
But they act differently from whatever they say.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really sad.
So, yeah, but to the numbers, we saw Nigerians not happy. In as much as, yes, I went to the mall yesterday, it wasn't as it should be.
People didn't come out.
People didn't come out. People are still, go out there and find how to buy food. In fact, take your family to the popular Mr. B's and the co. Take them to the fast food joints. You find out that persons that are making 30,000 naira, which is the minimum wage, cannot try it.
Yeah.
You cannot think about it. Okay? So you just imagine in a situation like this where the cost of fuel is too high, food is too high. Well, you will first talk about the necessity that you should have as a family before talking about to go and eat out or to go and have fun with your family, which should be basic in times like this. Should be basic. Look at our children out there. They want periods like this. This is their holiday.
Sure.
Periods like this, you take them out. You take them to fun places. You take them to parks.
Yeah.
But by the time most parents will go and do their plus and minus,
they will just
find out that they can't even, if they try it,
they will take that out.
Yes,
from
they have the entire house will go hungry.
Yeah.
So it's a pity that Nigeria has come this far. Look at, back in the days, we will not believe that Nigeria will just be this bad. That even the 30,000 minimum wage, some governors up to date can't even afford to pay that money, but they still want to come back. And you are not blaming you if they don't blame it on COVID, they blame it on oil theft. They just be looking up for reasons. Then as they even coming back, the new ones and even the older ones won't come out. They tell you, I'm going to increase the internal generated revenue. They just be talking and be giving promises and all that. Time for them to come together and let's check your scorecards. They will be looking for excuses.
Very much so. All right, thank you very much for that.
Sorry, I'm coming from that. From that side for Easter Easter.
That seems to be the reality. Even though some of us don't want to, check all of these things. We don't want to go that route. We don't want to go ahead and probe some of the happenings around us. But that's what's happening most of the time, where you find a lot of families don't see the relevance. Or aside the spiritual angle, they don't see the need to celebrate, or they don't know how. They don't have the means of celebrating most of these celebrations regarding, Christmas, Easter, and all of those other celebrations that come in between. Because times are getting tougher for most Nigerians. Most families are really just barely surviving. They're just barely keeping their head up. So it's a tough time for Nigerians. We're hoping that even these leaders that are coming out to make statements in terms of trying to, motivate the people, they should also make moves to improve the lives of most Nigerians, because times are really tough for Nigerians. But let's leave that story and move on to other newspaper headlines. And this time we're going to the Nigerian Tribune. And on Nigerian Tribune here we have as headline, Prince Bola Ajibola 1934 to 2023, Buhari, Tinubu, Atiku governors, Awolowo, Dosunmu, others pay tribute. Obasanjo, Oshoba, Ogun, deputy governor, attend burial. My father was passionate about Nigeria's unity. Son, fine story on page 25 on the Nigerian Tribune, which is talking about the late Prince Bola Ajibola. Moving on to other stories here. It says traffic chaos looms as trucks besiege Lekki port for cargoes. Absence of holding bay worrisome. Truckers. Electronic call-up coming soon. NPA. Moving on to the main headline on the Nigerian Tribune, it says NAS presiding officers, APC governors may open talks with aspirants. Gang up against Southeast thickens. Group cautions northern contestants. PDP eyes National Assembly presiding officers post. Find details on page 23 and 24 of the Nigerian Tribune. We'll move on to this one. It says 10 months after our church reopens amid tight security. Also, we see here banks network failure. Fraudsters target customers migrating to digital payment wallets as apps zero network failure increases. Details is on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Let me take this last one. It says proposed bill on doctors won't see light of the day. NMA. It will paralyze medical profession. Medical students, page 5 is where details is. So take time to read up that story. You find it on the Nigerian Tribune. Let me go back to that story. Remember on Friday we spoke about this very story about the doctors, the proposed bill by the National Assembly trying to, keep doctors in Nigeria for at least 5 years before you can have the will or the free will to travel abroad to continue your practice. And that has resulted to a lot of reaction from different quarters. Now we see doctors are coming to react, and they're saying that bill won't see the light of the day. What is your take on that story?
Yeah, that it will not see the light of the day. It's not even in their power. I mean, NMA, as in Nigerian Medical Association, right? It's not even in their power. It's the power lies on our leaders, majorly the House of Rep, then maybe to the Senate, and then the executive. So it is not. They don't have the power. But now you ask. Like we spoke yesterday, we condemned it. We spoke on Friday, and we condemned it here. Okay, so I think if the representative, that's the House of Rep member that brought up this bill, if he's talking about not allowing our doctors to travel for the next 5 years after graduation, if you go back and check the person's medical history, you might also find out that the person has also traveled out to get medical help, or the children or the child is outside the country.
Or that's even their constant place where they go to at this time.
Okay, like maybe this Easter holiday, maybe they've jetted out of the country.
Even for medical tourism, that's most of these, big men. Let me use the word big men. Billionaires, millionaires around the country, most of them don't get their treatments here. When they have real medical issues, they don't get treated here. They always have little headache or little high blood pressure. They are in London, they are in the US, they are in India, any place they feel that can give them the best treatment, they are there. They don't believe in the health system or the health sector here in the country. And the reason why we see that of the president and most big or political office holders is because these ones are in our faces all the time. So we know when they have to tell Nigerians that I'm leaving for medical examination, so place and so that's why we know of the president. So if it was just one billionaire around here, you don't get to hear about that. But I can assure you that most of these men, they don't get their treatment or their medical attention here in the country. That's just it.
Okay, but also if you ask me, for you and I that are in this country, okay, if you ask me, are we going to be comfortable seeing that there are no doctors to treat us here in Nigeria? That's, let's say, for every 10 doctors, 9 of them will be outside the country. Why we just have 1%, and now we'll be struggling with that one out of 10.
But that's why it should be an emergency to the leaders in this country. If it is becoming that serious, where a lot more doctors are leaving the shores, then it should be a serious consideration. It should be declared as a state of emergency. The health sector should be declared as a state of emergency, where they now focus and try to probe into why are these people leaving and what can we do to stop this exodus. They're not doing that. Rather, they are trying to force them to stay. They're not trying to fix the health sector. They want to rather force them to stay in a very rotten health system that is causing them a lot more problem. And
you mentioned about a state of emergency. How many times have we tried the style of state of emergency on education?
No, but you don't just declare. You don't just declare. That's a verbal thing. You don't just declare. Act upon it. So now, you talked about education. Okay, yes, they declared a state of emergency in the educational system before. But when you look at what happened or transpired between the Labour, the Minister of Labour and and ASU for almost 8 months, you begin to wonder, is it the same government that declares state of emergency in our educational sector and doesn't want to do the things that are required from the people, from the main actors in the system, saying that, okay, this and this and this is what we will need to even start the journey to recovery. They don't want to listen to them. Then the government is coming with their own pattern, saying that whatever you're saying will lead us to a path of recovery is unrealistic at this time. So this is what you will take. So take it. And if you not take it, we're going to create another group that will take it on your behalf. So those kind of things are ridiculous. And that's what we get to see. So if the government is trying to force doctors to stay because the exodus has been continuous and non-stop, I don't think that is forcing them to stay is not the right move. How about fixing it? Because it's possible. It's not an impossible thing. It is very possible that we can have a very, lively and robust health system where doctors will be satisfied. Because of course, if they don't feel satisfied, how well can they treat? If you're not well mentally, you're not well psychologically, you're not well emotionally, how can you really help to save another life?
But also, when you also ask this question, maybe I'll come from the other side. When you also ask the question, okay, you say that after graduating, this place is not conducive for me. It's not, but it was conducive when you were taking the training, which you know that the training of doctors in this country, not just only doctors, many of us, it is highly subsidized. Okay, but let's also not be carried away about the subsidy in our education here, because Nigeria is also rich to carry out this function. When you compare ourselves, if you compare this country to other climes, I mean the Middle Eastern countries, you find out that, see, Nigeria has all it takes to even declare free education from zero to the highest level. Okay, but the issues right now is that our doctors, especially our doctors, they are seeing it that, oh, we've invested so much on you, okay, why then leave? But my question is, there should be a total balance. Okay, one thing also we should know that keeping them forcefully is also going against their human rights. Remember when there was they wanted to have a bill whereby they were like, our politicians, their children should not go abroad to get study and to get education. But if you look at it from another angle, you'll be like, oh, come to think of it, their children are separate entity. Why would they not stop them from getting the kind of education they want to get? Now, what am I saying in this aspect? I don't want to go back to that side, because the education part, because I have my 2 cents about that. But in this particular case, there should be a total balance. What am I saying by a total balance? If they say, okay, doctors, if you leave this country, your education is subsidized, or the education you got has been subsidized, these and these are the things we require you to give back to the country. Okay, that's one. Then to our leaders that are making this bill, or going so loud about this bill as it stands, what sacrifice are you guys also willing to give? Just like we're in the season of sacrifice. Okay, I expect also, I understand that it's highly subsidized. Okay, what are you bringing in as doctors? Then for our leaders, what are you also bringing in? Personally, if I was a doctor by now, oh my goodness, maybe I would not be here with you guys. Okay, because yes, the opportunity is too good. The welfare they have out there is too good compared to what we have here. Okay, you can't be paying a doctor 200,000 naira a month, and he traveling over there, he might be making up to 5 million naira in a month. The gap is too much. Okay, so we might just say, okay, how are we going to balance these things? Okay, but just more importantly, we cannot have a system whereby all our doctors will leave us. My brother, my sister, woman, people will just die for this country.
So
okay,
the government should that should be a balance. When you talked about the balance, that's where I am of the opinion that the government should rise up to their responsibilities and do what is required of them, because two of the most hit sectors in the country is health and education, and these are very vital sectors that we all depend on for sanity, for well-being, but yet they are the most neglected. The people that have gone the most strike, or has had the most strike in this country, are teachers, lecturers, and doctors. Because I've not seen bankers down to one day. I've not seen oil workers down to even those ones. Once they down to, they respond to them immediately.
Yes.
But the doctors, they are ready to leave them for 8 months, 1 year. Nobody sends them. They just leave them, and then everybody begins to go to private hospitals. The ones that can afford to travel out, they travel. So these doctors are, I'm sure they are living or they are doing their jobs with so much sacrifice. So what I believe should be done is to create the perfect balance where these doctors will feel satisfied in delivering their services that they did not just pick up from the streets. They spent 10 years of getting there. Even when you say the services were, or the training was subsidized or whatever, it takes a lot of passion, commitment to stay in that sector for 10 years, and you graduate and then you come out, you don't have a job. The first job you'll be doing, they probably be paying you 40,000 naira or 50,000 naira for so much that you have spent in the 10 years and time sacrifice too.
So while we are also making all these things, creating all this balance, the leaders, our leaders will be like, because they've used this point, I've heard this somewhere, they use the point that doctors are supposed to, is a humanitarian work, they are here to save lives. They've forgotten that the leaders also came in to serve the people. Yes. So when you now come to the enumeration, the salaries that are being paid, you find out that the doctors that, yes, are here to serve the people are living like rags here, while our leaders that are also here to serve the people are now living like kings and trampling on the doctors. At the end of the day, what energy and what sacrifice, what intellectual knowledge do you have when you compare it to a doctor that even, oh come on, do you know the energy these guys put in and number of years they put in? Sometimes they even go, I have a doctor friend that it took him 10 years at a stretch to become a medical doctor. Then for a leader that that a street man can just come out today and become a politician, win election, now come to,
and then begins to earn over $500,000 as his monthly salary plus every other benefits that is attached to that.
We're talking about over almost 25 million in a month. By the time you add all the whole monies up,
everything, benefits and all of that.
The doctor will earn 200,000.
And then one day he wakes up and says, the way these doctors are moving around, I don't like it. Please, let's restrict them. And that's what's about to go on. So it's just unfortunate, but we expect the government to be more responsible and do what is required of them. We're going to take a short break. Once we come back, we'll take our last paper for the day. You stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey there, are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Alright, we are welcome back from that short break. I want to thank you for staying with us up to this time. It's Easter Monday, so yes, no doubt you're seeing us at this time. But if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on your notification, because that's how you get notified when next we come up with all our interesting programs here on TAF TV. If you haven't also followed us on our social media handles, what are you waiting for? Follow us on Facebook as TAF TV, on Instagram is TAF TV_NG, and on Twitter is TAF TV_NG. I guess I'm right with that Twitter handle.
Yes.
I keep mixing it up sometimes. All right, we'll go back to our papers, and this time will be this day for today, the 10th of April 2023. And we have a headline here: Autumn, we will not be provoked into taking up arms against anyone. Atiku condemns Benway's Zamfara killings, urges federal government to protect citizens. Police confirms escalation of banditry in Sokoto. Informants sabotaging our efforts, military hints. All right, make sure you pick up this day newspaper. That's where you find the full details of that story. You see here, with 89 expected assets, Nigeria to top Africa's upcoming oil gas projects by 2027. Page 6 is where details of that story is. We move downwards. It says here, at Easter, Nigerian leaders advocate love among people. Osibanjo, CJN, CA, that's Khan, Obaseki, others urge reciprocity in Christ-like values. To the main headline on these days, a tributes pour in as Bola Ajibola 89 is buried in Abeokuta. Buhari, Obasanjo, IBB, Tinubu, Osibanjo, Atiku, Lawan, Abiodun, Sanwo-Olu, others mourn, pay last respect. Appointed him AGF against position of people who described him as controversial, says ex-military leader. Reveals the deceased didn't receive salary throughout his service of fatherland. That's an interesting revelation there. First time I'm hearing that we had someone as dedicated as that, as patriotic as that also, that served as a leader, as AGF, and didn't receive salary throughout the years of service. That's what is expected. That's what we see in other same clients. But of course, only one man cannot be able to, make that a tradition in Nigeria, because we have more, rotten politicians soiling and spoiling the whole, process. And so, of course, one man that has done this really deserves to be, acknowledged. May his soul rest in peace. We are speaking about Bola Ajibola, former AGF. All right, moving on to another headline here. It says, farewell to a prince of the golden era of jurisprudence. All right, that's all the headlines we'll be taking here on this day newspaper. But let's go back to the first story I read, which is about autumn. Now, there's been a lot of killings in Benue State, and it's been so sad. The other day I was watching the news and I saw the number of dead bodies in their coffins that they were moving to a burial ground, and that really caught my attention. For a while, all of this thing as if it was blowing away, but it has resurfaced in a more terrible way, and now they are killing people like no man's business. What's your take in that story for the one about Governor Autumn saying he will not be provoked into taking arms against anyone? His state has really been hit.
Yeah, it's really been hit. And when he was asked on live television about his challenges throughout his tenure, 8 years, what were his challenges? He was also talking about the security crisis from day one. So he began to wonder, 8 years, is it that he could have stepped aside? If you ask me, I think he could have stepped aside for another leader to come. But he was also saying, see, it was not just about him, that he needed the federal power to come and help him out, to bail him out. Okay, he now asked, why is it that other sectors of the economy is not working in Benue State? And he came out to say that, see, the problem has been because his monies, the monies that the IGR that they have, they invest almost everything into security. And I also understand the fact that he set up some, let's say, corps, some kind of
local vigilante.
Yeah, local vigilante, correct. So, but is it yielding result? The answer will be no. So, one might ask, what are the fundamental issues with Benue State? Okay, we know that Benue State is at the middle, okay, and at the middle of the map, okay. So, Benue State is that state that has that intercept between Christians and northern Nigeria and the southern Nigeria, okay, where you now have that intercept of north and the south, Muslims are Christians, let me keep it that way, okay. So now, what are the issues? The issue in Benue State is predominantly or majorly on lands, the land that they have, that the Fulanis want to occupy their lands. And mind you, the mantra of Benue State is the food basket of the nation. Yeah. Benue State is so blessed. Hi, Nigeria.
So blessed, yeah. Very much so, yeah.
Is it the yam? I have a sister. Oh my God.
They're really blessed, yeah.
That they were even suggesting, somebody was suggesting
their land is so fertile.
Oh my God. Somebody was just suggesting that how come Benue up till now don't have a cargo airport? Where you are seeing all those natty states just wasting their funds on doing airport that nobody is using, airport that goats and cow and rams are just moving up and down, no business around there. Now you have a state and they are producing. Yeah. See, in terms of employment rate or unemployment rate rather in Benue State is about hovering around 15%. Just about that. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Where in other states, like should I mention Sokoto? Sokoto might be doing like 70% unemployment rate. Benue State, but you now also come to think of it, the underemployment rate is almost 50%. They are working, but they are not meeting up. Why are they not also meeting up? Because they suffer so much to produce because of insecurity. These people that have been killed now, many of them, yes, IDPs, from IDPs, and some that are saying, this IDP, I am not staying, I'm going straight to my farm, and anything that happens, I'll face it out. But many times they get killed. So what is happening? The Fulanis or the headsmen are not, will I say, are not trying to be, will I say, realistic here. These people, they own this land. They say, see, don't come into my farmland. Leave my farmland alone for me. Let me farm on my farmland. But you are not forcing yourself into their farmland. And you know what happens with some of these headsmen? They go in, they spoil your crops. And they now want you to just stay low. So that is what is causing this crisis, because people also on their own take laws into their hands. Maybe they want to go kill 2 Fulani men. The next, the president attack, will pack a whole lot of them, like 50 or thereabouts. So it's just a crazy time out there. And when it was okay, the new leader has come. That's Hyacinth, the reverend. Yeah. He has come that he's going to come with a new initiative and all that. But let's see how it goes. But
Benue State is having
God bless the persons that have lost their lives.
Yeah.
The president has also, in his usual way, to mourn them. But is that the end? Will that solve the problem? The answer is no.
Yeah, for 8 years they've had this experience, and they're still having a very, very tough time trying to, ward off these bandits that are attacking their communities and killing people in their numbers day in, day out. Here we have the governor saying he's not going to encourage people picking up arms against, these attackers. But then they need to find a lasting solution to these problems, and on time too, because it's really getting out of hand. And this has been the matter, this insecurity matter, and the killing of innocent people day in, day out, abducting of innocent people every time, and it's almost like it has become a normal part of our lives where we have to cope with it because the government doesn't really know how to deal with it, and it's really sad. I want to thank you so much, Victor. And to our viewers, thank you for staying with us up to this time. Make sure you also drop your comments and the reactions as regards the headlines we've dropped out, we've spoken to you about today. Until next time, we'll come your way again. My name is William Sabule, and this has been the News Super Review here on TAP TV.